Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
I want people to know to stick with your gut. If someone is using broken English or if they are using, if it's too good to be true, it usually is.
We were contacted by several people overnight warning us of a possible babysitting scam circulating on social media. Viewers tell us they found a Facebook post looking for a babysitter in the FM area. And while many of you who are looking for a babysitter or offering childcare services turn to social media for help, viewers are saying there was something fishy about this post. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer has our story tonight on what you need to know to make sure the babysitting job you find online is legit.
She said that she's going to be sending me a check for about $1,550, which includes the money for the groceries as well as my first week's payment. And then she asked if I have $100 on me to go buy her an iTunes card that she needs desperately right now.
Haley Claypack is a college student who's looking to make some extra money. She came across a Facebook post last night that she thought was the perfect fit.
She never specified where it would be or like what city or what area she'd be in, so it was really sketchy.
And Claypack isn't the only one who has noticed this. We received several screenshots of the same post, except in different cities and states across the country.
I said, well, what about this post actually posted in Ohio? And she goes, oh, that was a mistake. And then I went, well, why is it still there then? And she stopped responding.
But this is when the story really gets strange. We tried reaching out to the same number Claypack was using to speak with this woman, and I asked them if this was a scam via text message. They responded with this picture of themselves. But after searching this image on Google, a different name was found. A Jeremy Allen of Atlanta, Georgia came up. So we reached out to Allen to see if he was involved in the situation, and he says this isn't the first time something like this has happened to him.
Like I get probably contacted at least once a month or about someone either using my picture on social media or a dating site with this fake person over the phone thinking it was me.
Now, if you find yourself looking for a babysitter or you're interested in a babysitting job, there are some tips you can follow to make sure it's safe. Care.com suggests not giving out any personal information and avoid people who are asking you to give money up front. They also suggest not accepting payment by check or a money order. And lastly, always meet in person for a face-to-face interview. In Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
She might have deleted it now.
We tried contacting the number from the original post for more information, but we could not get further details. We also contacted the Fargo Police Department, and they tell us they are investigating the situation. If you need help with an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline, 237-6576, and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. We are heading into some brutal weather, a cold spell bringing dangerous below-zero temperatures. Hutch, will it hit us tonight, or do we have a little time?
It begins making its way down into the valley as we head through the overnight tonight. So yes, get ready for another blast of Arctic air working its way in. Here is a look at our wind advisory. Basically wind chill advisory, I should say, for wind chills overnight and in the early hours of the morning approaching 40 below zero. We'll have a persistent northwest wind between 5 and 15 miles per hour. Clearing skies over eastern North Dakota and decreasing clouds into the overnight out east as well will allow these temperatures to plummet. Also, thanks to some fresh snow, things will get mighty chilly. Wind chills already get colder than 30 below up by Langdon and the Devil's Lake Basin. Elsewhere, exposed skin will freeze in as little as 30 minutes, so watch out for frostbite. Throw the survival kit in the vehicle. By around bedtime tonight, we'll be approaching that 10 below category with wind chills around 20 to 25 below zero here in the FM area. The coldest core of the air arrives as we glide into the weekend. I'll have details on how low we go coming up here in just a few minutes, but it is going to be rather unbalming.
Yeah, right. That's a good way to put it, a nice way.
Yes.
Thanks, Hutch. The North Dakota Highway Patrol is putting out another warning after a patrol car was hit while investigating a crash on I-29 this morning. The trooper was called out around 9:30 a.m. to a crash just north of the Main Avenue exit. A little more than 10 minutes later, a car lost control on the icy roads and crashed into the back of the patrol car that was parked on the median shoulder with its emergency lights on. The Cass County Sheriff's Office is investigating the crash. The Highway Patrol says this is a good reminder to drive for the conditions during the winter months and avoid using cruise control. New developments tonight in a story out of the Twin Cities that we've been following for months. A Minnesota prosecutor says he needs more time to decide whether to charge the police officer who fatally shot Justine Damond after she called 911. Prosecutor Mike Freeman had promised a decision by year's end, but today said he needed more time. Minneapolis police officer Mohammed Noor shot Damond on July 15th, just minutes after she called 911 to report a possible assault in the alley behind her home. Noor has not publicly talked about the case. His partner, Officer Matthew Harity, told investigators he was startled by a loud noise right before Damond approached their police SUV. Noor then shot Damond. Freeman was captured on video 2 weeks ago at a holiday reception, complaining that investigators had not brought him enough information to warrant charges. A judge has delayed approval of a divisive oil pipeline in northern Minnesota so the environmental impact statement can be revised. The decision from the judge came last week. It's a response to a Public Utilities Commission's finding that the project's impact statement was inadequate. The commission gave the Department of Commerce 60 days to make revisions. Alabama election officials have officially declared Democrat Doug Jones the winner of a special Senate election held earlier this month. Jones defeated Republican Roy Moore by about 22,000 votes on December 12th and became the first Democratic Senate victory in a quarter century in Alabama. Moore was dogged by accusations of sexual misconduct involving teenage girls that occurred decades ago. He refused to concede the race and filed a last-ditch lawsuit yesterday, saying there were voting irregularities that needed to be investigated. A judge rejected his claims. Alabama officials also said they found no evidence of fraud. The White House is condemning an attack today on a Shiite Muslim cultural center in Afghanistan that left at least 41 people dead and more than 80 injured. It happened in the Afghan capital of Kabul. Officials say an unknown number of suicide attackers, claimed by an ISIS affiliate, set off an explosion outside the center before storming it and detonating explosive devices where scores of people gathered for a religious ceremony. The Islamic State in Afghanistan has claimed several brutal attacks on Shiites in recent months in the city. New year, new tax law. In a few days, the new GOP tax plan will go into effect, and it's already causing some confusion. Many people are rushing to make last-minute payments, hoping to save money before the end of the year. Now the IRS is out with some guidance on the new law. NBC's Blaine Alexander explains whether you should consider paying early.
Tax professionals may be ringing in the new year much busier than usual. The new GOP tax law means that starting in 2018, property tax deductions will be capped at $10,000. Before, there was no limit. That includes state and local taxes.
Okay, does anybody have their checks ready?
So that leaves many scrambling, trying to prepay those taxes before year's end to save money. But now, the IRS says that only works if you have already had your 2018 property tax assessment. Tax advisors say the best place to start, check with your local tax office.
It really depends on your locality and whether or not they permit this. Some localities are bending the rules.
In bigger states, there's concern that the new law would do far more harm than good. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo suggesting the new law may be unconstitutional.
It is the most egregious political act I have seen. It was done quickly. It was done without any public review. And now you're seeing the backlash.
Experts say you will really start to notice changes tax day 2019.
I think there's going to be a rude awakening for a lot of people who have itemized in the past, who are going to see their itemized deductions whacked and brought way down, and that they're going to owe a lot more tax.
But when filing your taxes this coming April, it's business as usual. The new law will not yet apply. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
If you are making a payment, check your local tax website. Some take payments online, others by mail. If that's the case, it must be postmarked this Saturday to make the deadline. What doctors are now saying about getting an MRI if you have an implanted pacemaker or defibrillator. That's still ahead tonight.